let the blow fall soon or late, let what will be on me. Give the face of earth around, and the road before me. Wealth I ask not, hope nor love, nor a friend to know me. All I ask, the heaven above, and the road below me.
Well, our last YouTube presentation from the Vaughan Williams Society featured Penelope Thwaite talking about this wonderful new Albion Records recording. We talked about the Songs of Travel, music by Peggy Glanville-Hicks and Percy Grainger and John Rayner. And now I have the great pleasure of talking to Kathryn Rudge, who features so prominently on that album. Good afternoon, it is today, Kathryn. Good to have you with us.
Thank you. It's lovely to be with you.
And I want to start where I started with Penny Thwaites, and that's just talking about, where Vaughan Williams entered your life when you were young. Was this something that was introduced to you in school or whatever?
Well, he probably would have been introduced to me at school, but during my school years, I would have sung hymns and things, but I didn't really know to look who the composer was. I just was enjoying the music and being in school choirs, and it wasn't until later on I started to study voice. I had a wonderful teacher who recognised I might be able to go down the classical route, and so from there I went to the Royal Northern College of Music, and it wasn't until I was about 17, 18, and there was a moment I can remember vividly in a composition class that I didn't expect. We were talking about themes, and the composition teacher played a few chords from the Thomas Tallis piece, and then we spoke about how you could maybe take this into your own composition work, and they played on the CD player the Vaughan Williams Fantasia, and I can remember the goosebumps. I'd never heard anything like it, and I scribbled on the top of my score Williams and Tallis, and I ran to the library at lunch because I just needed to find it. They'd stopped it halfway. And I can remember sitting with the big headphones on, and it was like my mind was blown by it all. And so firstly, it was his orchestral works. I took that home to my mum and dad then. I was like, have a listen to this.
And did they listen?
They did, and they loved it. And then we kind of rooted through our collections then, and I started to piece together. We had compilation albums, and then I'd put another one on and think, this is great too. Listen, so together we went on that journey, and you have some moments with composers that creep up on you and you gradually get to know them, but it was very much a love at first listen with Vaughan Williams for me.
Well, so as you're scrabbling through the recording collection at home, what songs did you actually come across, or maybe choral music?
Yeah, it would have been probably his choral music and orchestral to begin with, and then it wasn't until I started song classes at college and people would bring different pieces, and then you start to hear the harmonies and think that sounds familiar, and then I realised, oh, you write songs as well. so that was when I started to read through the books as well, and Silent Noon was obviously felt like the greatest love song ever written, and we'd talk in detail, what's behind it all. And then it's only in the last few years I've done his House of Life, the full cycle, and gone on that journey. And they're challenging songs, but they're just wonderful. I love them.
Yeah. And are you the sort of person that loves to read loads of background to the music? I mean, in the biography or anything else? I mean, is that part of preparing for something?
Yeah, absolutely. I try and soak up as much as I can around what was the context, when was it written, at what point in the composer's life did they write it, and why may they have chosen those poems? What does the poet, why did they write what they did? But as you piece it all together, it's lovely to then factor a theme around that into programs, and always a favourite moment when I get to the Vaughan Williams songs because
Oh, isn't that's lovely. But can you say how it helps to do all that reading? Does it actually affect the way that you sing, in fact?
yeah, it does because it brings a different perspective. I can only bring my life experience into what I read and how I interpret it, but historical context and why, the journey of their life, at what point in their life did they write it? Should we focus mostly on the youthful elements of it, or, is there a backstory perhaps that gives to the song the sentiment, a different way of looking at it? So for me to be able to draw all of that in, and I probably don't even soak up half of what they actually meant, and but I hope in some way the place when I deliver songs and when I perform them, it comes from a truthful place as best I can give to what I've got in front of me. And that changes over the years as well. That the way I sang Silent Noon the first time or Linden Lee is different 10 years on. And that's the exciting part, I guess. That's
Absolutely.
why
So there's
we do what we do.
lots of learning still to be done alongside the
100%.
actual singing. Um, so Songs of Travel obviously is our main point of focus here, and I'm wondering how far you sung any of the songs before you made this recording.
So I had enjoyed and was quite relaxed about this being a man's song cycle, and I'd enjoyed it from an audience perspective and come to know and love our traveller as a male. So they hadn't featured in any of my programmes. I'd always enjoyed listening and wondered could I put one or two into a programme, but it feels as a complete work as it needs to be in my heart. So I'd left it to the greats in the male world to do. And lots of female singers have put them in programmes, but it hadn't been. But John contacted me and said, we're thinking of doing the first recording of it with a female voice. So it took me aback a bit to think, but it's an honour. It's an honour to look at it.
So that was John Francis, the
Yeah,
chairman of the
John
Royal Williams
Francis.
Society. He phoned you up and tried to persuade. Well, was that sort of a decision that took 5 minutes to make, or 5 days, or 5 months? I mean, did you quickly decide you were going to do it?
Yeah, I did because I thought, right, let's look at it. Let's see what would it be like to interpret these as a female singer? Do I become a female traveller? Could I bring the male traveller into it? And my instinct was I needed him to be with me on this journey, and I felt I could bring something to it. I could empathize with his journey, but he had to still be the person that originally walked this journey.
That's fascinating that you put it like that. I mean, next time I listen to the recording, I'm going to think of the two of you rather than just yourself doing it. But so what you're saying is that, rather than being defensive about, oh, Katie Rudge is doing Songs of Travel, is that right? We should be saying, look, there's something really positive about being able to have it sung complete by a woman.
Yeah, I do see the positive side of it, and I hope it brings a different perspective. Or I mean, the listener, the audience will receive whatever it means to them, and for some people, it may not bring anything to it that they haven't already gained from it. But I hope in when I got with Penny in the rehearsal room, we spoke a lot about, how were we going to approach it, and it was great because our instincts aligned on this as two females approaching the male journey. And there's so many references. There's one, I think it's the eighth song. He says, and the maid remembers. And here we are in 2025, bringing the same text, this wonderful music, and I think it is a positive to have a different voice, and I hope that people will enjoy hearing it that way.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, did you go to one or two recordings sung by men as part of your preparation, whether you could nonetheless pick up things from those recordings which helped you?
Yes, certainly. I mean, I've got playlists of all different, and they all different people singing things, and yeah, the wonderful male singers that have done it, and I listen, and there's a strength and a stoicism and an earthiness to so many of the performances, and it is quite daunting to think, can you bring that as a female to it? But there's also these amazing moments of optimism within it, and there's a love thread, a love story going through that, which there's someone on the end of that, and he speaks of that within the pieces. So for me, it was to just bring it round to a different perspective, and perhaps, he is on his own in the earthly sense, but there's another soul somewhere in this journey.
Well, that's something I'm going to take away from this interview. Well, far from thinking about who you listen to amongst male singers, let's hope that lots of male singers now listen to your recording and see what they can pick. I'm sure that they can. I'm just wondering now whether you will be scheduling complete songs of travel in concerts. Do you think you would do that now?
Yeah.
Surely.
I'd love to. I'd love to put together programs with this in it, and perhaps that's something we'll start to do more and more. I'd love to do a whole Vaughan Williams recital.
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. Well, look, we should, before we finish, talk about two other composers featured in this album whose music you sing. Peggy Glanville-Hicks will not be known to lots of people. Very interesting cosmopolitan figure, born in Australia, lived in UK, studied with Vaughan Williams, lived in the USA. Presumably, well, you may have known plenty about Peggy before this, but I guess the music was unfamiliar to you, was it?
Yeah, it was 100%, and this is all credit to Penny. She shared, she was so giving in all of the things she shared about knowing about Peggy's life, and sourcing the music as well. And there's this story of that we sing, one of the pieces is "How soon will my lovely days be over?" And she'd been commissioned to write this opera and completed it, and it was rejected, and this is the final aria from that opera. And I don't know that there's many scores around of it, but we managed through an arranger, with full gratitude to them, to be able to put this on the album, and it's an honor to do that, really, for her to have her music on this record next to Vaughan Williams, and in her own right, it's fantastic music.
Yeah. Well, of course, lovers of English art song will love the settings of Come Sleep by Peter Warlock and Ivor Gurney, that amazing setting. But this setting by Peggy Glanville-Hicks really does stand up, doesn't it? It's a wonderful thing.
It does. And that's another one I'd love to program as well, because it's always the go-to to do those. But yeah, she belongs in recitals.
Well, and then finally we come on to this extraordinary character, Percy Grainger. We got these various folk song arrangements, a little bit off the wall at times, I mean, that again would have been new to you. That must have been great fun.
It was great fun, and that was when Alessandro joined us as well in the recording. So that it was, and so many different nuances. You've got humour, you've got quite dark subject matters in there. You've got this beautiful finale piece, the vocalies that we did together, and then there's the one where we had to laugh and enjoy ourselves, and it was a celebration really of his music, and
That was the husband and wife.
husband and wife duet, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There's a little bit of squealing goes on in the middle of that. So there's something that will make people buy this album. The prospect of squealing in the Grainger song.
It's worth it for that.
Absolutely so. Well, look, it's such a wonderful album. I've been listening to it absolutely constantly, and let's hope that this interview and indeed the interview with Penny encourages people well around the world watching this interview to encourage them to rush out and order this, and of course they can listen to it online once it's released as well. Katie, if I may call you that, Katie, thank you
Yeah.
so much for that lovely, lovely interview. It's lovely to be in touch with the fair city of Liverpool, where you are at the moment. And we wish you all the best with all your future work, and not least for your championing of Ralph Vaughan Williams. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for all your support.